Okay, good evening and welcome to the Town of Eastchester Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for January. Today is January 14th, 2025. We begin our meetings with Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before I call the roll for tonight's meeting, as I generally do at this point, I go over some of the ground rules. Like most government and quasi-government institutions, our meetings are governed by Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Order. It's a very thick book, so I'll just give you the cliff notes. Action is taken by motion and vote and resolution, and as a general rule, new applications will have an opportunity to present. The public is generally given an opportunity to be heard, and whether it's a public or an applicant or other parties who may be addressing the board, they'll wait to be recognized by the chair. Also, no new correspondence is accepted after the close of the public hearing. That's important because the materials are all part of a public record, and frequently people may write emails or comment, and certainly today people will be able to comment on the record. Once the public hearing is stricken and closed, anyone who comments afterward or wants to send an email will not be part of the public record. So once we close the public hearing, there's no further correspondence or commentary. Okay? Tonight we have two items that are adjourned on consent. One of them is the 249-27 New Street matter, and the other is the 6 Sprague Road application. Those are both adjourned to the February meeting. Tonight we have a 4-member board, so we have a quorum. We have one matter on for resolution. That matter, if it's seeking approval, would have to be either 4-0 or 3-1. 2-2 is what's known as a default denial. On our calendar tonight, we have one item for resolution, which we'll get to in a moment, but I want to make sure our applicants are here for new business, so when I call your matter, just let me know you're here and you're ready to proceed. Number 1 is 42 Maple Avenue. Ready to proceed? Okay. The next is 86 Woodruff Avenue. Ready to proceed? Okay. 148 Locust Avenue. Ready to proceed? Okay. I have Scarsdale, 804 Scarsdale Avenue. Ready? Okay. And the last is 80 Rose Avenue. Ready as well. Okay. Good. Okay. Before I go on to the resolution calendar, I want to make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 12, 2024 meeting. Is there a second to my motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. On the resolution calendar, I make a motion to adopt the resolution granting the requested variance as submitted in application 24-42. That's 20 Arlington Road. Is there a second to my motion?
I'll second it.
Mr. Conway. To the vote, Mr. Cahalan?
No.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
I vote yes. The application's been approved 3-1. Okay. Now, for those items of new business that I was giving you the cliff notes on, for you applicants, your matter and the documents behind them have been marked submitted. All of the documents that you've submitted are now part of the public record. So you don't need to come up and read your application. Can if you want. It won't hurt your application. It won't help. My suggestion would be to summarize what your application's about, and then the board would have an opportunity to ask you questions, sometimes make comments, and then after that, the public may have an opportunity to be heard, and you would also, of course, have an opportunity to respond. So having said that, let's start with new business item number 1. That's 42 Maple Avenue. If you can come forward, give your name and address for the record, and please proceed.
Good evening. Steve Anderson from Gabriel Senior PC Land Surveyors and Engineers, 90 North Central Avenue, Hartsdale, New York. We're presenting tonight, it's been before the planning board, 2-lot subdivision. One lot has a existing home, which is in the R3 zone, and the proposed vacant is in the R5 zone. So to summarize, we are going for a variance on the frontage for the existing house lot. It's supposed to be 60 feet, we're asking for 50. The other item is the 60 by 60 effective square. So we're putting in a 50-foot, effective square. And the left setback line is 7 feet, it should be 8. And the house is slightly over on lot coverage. Now, all these items are not discernible. The way this happened was that it was originally owned by multiple family members, and over the years, through inheritance and the passing of each individual, it came to a lone survivorship. So we're trying to break it up into 2 lots for 2 different family members. So that's basically what it is. If you have any questions, I could go through the 5 points. There's really no discernible item that's outstanding that you would notice. It fits with the neighborhood and all that, so.
Okay.
One just procedural
Please.
note on this application. So this is an application for a subdivision, which is an unlisted action under SECRA. The planning board did a coordinated review and adopted a negative declaration at September meeting when it forwarded the application here. So SECRA has been completed.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like you to know, we've been presented a site plan for the new lot. We were asked to do that. It's completely conceptual at this point, because eventually, if it was, going to be built on, it would have to come back for site plan approval.
Okay.
So, okay.
Well, thank you for your presentation. Okay, to the board with any questions or comments for that matter. Mr. Cahalan,
Yeah, I have a couple.
please.
So the topography of this lot, is it an upward sloping lot?
Yeah, we're talking the vacant lot or the existing house?
Vacant lot.
Yes, it is. But like I said, we presented a conceptual plan that's been reviewed by the town consultant. And so far, we've accomplished all of his comments. I mean, he'll review it again for the planning board. So, we looked at every aspect, drainage and grading, and everything's been looked at.
So why is the house, why do you need that variance? Can you scale it down?
The existing house is the lot for the variance is the existing house. So the other lot doesn't need any variances.
Doesn't need any variances.
No
Okay.
variances.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, to clarify, the vacant lot, you can build on it as of right.
Yeah.
But by creating that, you're creating a non-conforming
Yes. yeah,
side
yeah,
yards.
that's
Is that
right.
correct, Counselor?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. All of the variances relate to the lot that would have the existing residence on it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Cahalan, anything further?
No.
Mr. Conway?
No questions for me?
Mr. Weber?
No question.
I don't have anything either. I make a motion to open the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone from the public like to be heard on this application? Okay, seeing nobody, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I'll second
Mr.
that.
Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Cahalan, any questions or comments of the applicant?
No, done.
Mr. Conway?
Nothing from me.
Mr. Weber?
No.
Yeah, in clarification, the new home construction on the vacant lot is as of right. So what you're really doing is creating legal non-conforming status with the home staying, so you're going to need variances for the side yard, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it may also be worthy to note that kind of is in a odd area where you have, is it 4 or 5 different zoning, Counselor?
2, 3, 4, 5 different districts in the town, and then the village of Tuckahoe.
Right, within that area. So I don't see it as being out of character with that area and that community. I have nothing other than to make a motion to adjourn this matter for resolution only to the February 11, 2025 meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Cahalan, all in favor? Aye. Thank you for your presentation. Okay, new business item number 2, that's the Woodruff Avenue, that's 24-46. Come forward, name and address for the record, and please present.
Good evening. I'm Stephanie Malinsky with SM Architecture Studio. I'm presenting on behalf of my client, Joseph Gizzo. The property is at 86 Woodruff Avenue in zoning district R5. We're proposing to create some more living space for him and his family, and an attached garage to replace an existing detached garage. The existing house is very small with just over 1,100 square feet of living space. We'd like to increase this to 1705 square feet. There are kind of two different parts to the proposed addition. The first part is a small second floor addition at the back of the house, extending over the existing deck, creating 2 bedrooms, and this requires a side yard variance. We'd be extending the existing line of the house back, which is already non-conforming. For reference, though, the neighboring house is only 0.7 feet off the side property line. We're requesting 4 feet, which is the existing setback. The second part of the addition is creating an attached garage. Currently, there's a detached garage at the back corner of the property. So we'd be demoing that to create more green space in the back of the property. And for this addition, we'd be requesting a side yard variance, a front yard, and impervious surface coverage variance. For the front yard, most of the houses on that street are already well over the required front yard setbacks. You can see they're kind of all in line with the existing front of this house, and we'd be setting back from that. And in the impervious surface, we're actually improving the situation. The impervious surface is already over 19%, and we're actually reducing that because we're demoing that 2-car garage. So overall, I think the addition will actually improve the aesthetic of the house and the street and the neighboring properties and enhancing curb appeal.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay, to the board. Mr. Kalin, any questions or comments?
I got a couple.
Proceed.
So how far up are you pushing the attached garage that you want to build from the existing garage right now? How many feet?
So from the existing front of the house?
From the existing back of the house? You have a structure built that you're demoing, right?
Right.
So how far is that coming up?
So this is about 20 feet here, but to the front, 45.
Okay. So you're doing that to create a bigger backyard?
Yeah, and we're also reducing the impervious surface.
Right, so you're taking out the concrete slab and you're gonna put in dirt, grass,
Grass,
pavers,
yeah.
something?
And also, the driveway extends all the way back to that garage, so, we're demoing
long
that, and
walk.
that's essentially where the new addition will be for the attached garage.
And you're just extending the side yard that's so tight already, correct? Just pushing it back further?
So
You're
that's
not-
for the
you're not
second floor
unhinging, it's
addition?
just- You're following that same line?
Correct.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Kalin. Mr. Conway?
No questions for me. Seems like a
Whoever?
nice project.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. You
sorry.
were saying,
What would you say?
continue.
No, sorry, I was just saying seems like a nice project. I'm familiar with the area. Used to live in that neighborhood. I know there's flooding issues in that neighborhood too, so I think decreasing the impervious surface is a good thing.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. Mr.
No,
Webb?
Mike asked the question I had, so no questions.
Yeah, I don't have anything at this time. I make a motion to open the public hearing on this application. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Kalin, all in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Okay, seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter. Second?
I'll second that too.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. As it's my obligation, back to the board. Would you have any questions or comments?
None, thank you.
Conway?
None.
Ms. Weber?
None.
My only comment is that you seem to have addressed the five-part test to my satisfaction, and it's a very, in addition, your presentation was very succinct and to the point, which is always appreciated. I make a motion to adjourn this matter for resolution only at February meetings. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, new matter number 3. This is Locust Avenue. Name and address for the record, please, and present away.
Good evening. I'm John Turnquist, JT2 Architects. We're proposing to build an addition on the side of the house facing east. We're seeking a variance for the side yard, which is roughly 0.6 feet, and 4.2 on the front yard. The site, there are existing nonconformities. We're not expanding the footprint of the house, and we will be building on top of the existing first floor, the existing foundation. There is no increase in impervious area, and the addition will be a master closet and master bathroom. The house needs to be updated. It's not updated as of now. There's small closets in the master bedroom.
Can you please use
Can you
the
ta-
microphone?
Thank you.
Sorry, Alan, didn't
Sorry,
mean to
no, please.
usurp you.
Microphone.
Take the mic with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we all jumped up because what happens is if it can't, the stenographer can't get it, when we get our minutes, it drops out. So sorry, we didn't mean to react
No problem.
violently when you got up.
No problem. So we're adding on here, closet, master bath, and then this is the addition, which is on the existing footprint of the first floor. Elevation, front elevation here, this box here where it's noted as addition and addition. The materials will be like kind, the windows, the stucco on the outside. It'll match all of the existing residents. Roofing, I think that's it. These are the owners. Any?
No, just like to introduce ourselves.
Please.
Alexandra Petrullo Lamarugini, homeowner at 148 Locust Avenue.
Sylvester Lamarugini.
And I did bring a copy of the affidavit of publication. Not sure if that's a requirement.
Yes, please, if you can give
May
it
I
to our
approach?
building inspector.
Give it to the building inspector.
I think I don't have a lot else to say.
Okay.
At the
Well,
moment.
I thank you for your presentation, and although it doesn't automatically get you an approval, any young couple that's willing to stand during a public proceeding is okay in my book. So, to the board for questions and comments, Mr. Cahalan?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to do this, but this application was terrible. I read these applications, the plans, I have not seen hand-drawn plans. I'm doing this 18 years. I haven't seen hand-drawn plans in 16 years. I'm very disappointed with this application. It's sloppy. I had to call Noel today to understand the elevations that I needed to see. You can't make them out from your diagrams. You know, I'm just, the way I feel, this was not a big application. It's not a lot of variances, but if I had nothing but this, I can't make a decision on it. I just can't. So I'm upset about it because I don't understand how professionals can hand in work like this. And we take time. I take time. I go visit properties. I go out. They don't pay me for this. I enjoy it. But most of the architects that come through, they know this board and they know what we require. And this ain't it. So I'm going to stop there, but I'm very disappointed in the application, Mr. Chairman.
You're talking about the format of the application.
Just the whole application.
Okay. Comment?
Well, go ahead.
Please, if you want to respond.
They are
please do.
old school plans. We're at the end of our term with our business, so
Okay.
they are, yeah.
Mr. Conroy?
No questions.
Mr. Weber?
No question.
I don't have anything. I open this matter to the public for a public hearing. Is there a second? To opening the
Second.
public hearing? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay, would anyone like to be heard on this application? Okay, seeing no one, I make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, back to the board. Anything further, Mr. Cahalan?
No.
Mr. Conway?
No.
Mr. Weber?
No.
My only comment is that the application requests are really de minimis, and we get a better idea from the explanation and then the application itself. But to me, it seems like it's in character of the neighborhood, and I think you've met the 5-part test. The only thing left I have is a application to, resolution, I'm sorry, to adjourn this matter for resolution only at the February meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item that's on for new business, Scarsdale Avenue, I'm required to recuse myself because of a conflict and having represented parties involved. So, Mr. Cahalan, if you can take over, I have to actually leave the room. Someone come get me when it's over so I can come back and be chairman.
Please, Mr. Yanacita.
Okay, good evening. My name is John Yanacito. I'm an architect, and I'm representing Mr. and Mrs. Caffarella, the owners of the subject property. We are requesting area variances to legalize the existing detached garage located in the front yard, which is highlighted in yellow on the site plan. Mr. and Mrs. Caffarella purchased this property last year. During the purchase process and the file search, it was discovered that the existing detached garage was constructed without the proper approvals. Based on my review of the file and conversations with the previous owner, it was determined that the existing garage was constructed sometime in the 1980s. The legalization of the existing garage will require 3 variances. The first is for the side yard setback to an accessory structure, where the existing is 1.4 feet and the required is 5 feet, a deficiency of 3.6 feet. The second is for the maximum coverage of an accessory structure. The existing coverage is 450 square feet and the maximum permitted is 425, an excess of 25 square feet. And the third variance is for an accessory structure located in the front yard. This property is located on the corner of Scarsdale Avenue and Lee Road. Across the street on Scarsdale Avenue, there are railroad tracks for Metro North and also the Bronx River. And then across on the Lee Road side, the zoning changes to an RB and it becomes more of a commercial zoning. The existing garage was constructed in the location of a previously approved driveway. And did not increase the previously approved impervious surface coverage. The existing garage is constructed into the side of a slope, and it's not visible from the side or the rear, so the side and the rear elevations are completely below grade. And the property 50 feet to the right on Scarsdale Avenue has the same detached garage in their front yard, and that was approved sometime in the 50s. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I will tell you, when I first saw the application, I was like, a garage in the front yard? I was like, boy, this could be a problem.
Yeah.
Then I drove by and I went, oh, I know this property. So,
It's been there forever.
it's been there forever, so yes. Let's open it up. Any questions to the board, Mr. Connolly?
Nothing for me.
Mr. Weber?
No.
Okay, I have no questions. Since there are no questions, I'm going to make a motion to open up the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Is anybody from the public would like to speak? Seeing no one, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that as well.
Thank you very much. Back to the board. Any questions, Mr. Connolly?
None for me.
Mr. Weber?
None for me.
And I still have none. So the only thing we'll do is move this on to the next meeting for resolution. Thank you, Mr. Yanacito.
Great, thank
Do you have to make an application and vote to adjourn it? for-
Oh,
I assume everything was aye.
thank you. I'm new at this. So, is everybody in favor of moving it to the next meeting for resolution?
Yeah, do you want to make a
Aye.
formal motion for that? Why don't you make a
just-
motion?
I did.
Okay, and we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Billy?
Okay.
And we have a vote?
All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Mike's the non-lawyer.
We learn from the best.
Okay. I guess we're on to 80 Rose, aren't we?
Thank you, Rose, yes.
Okay.
Okay, good evening again. My name is John Yanacito. I'm an architect, and I'm representing Mr. and Mrs. Sellis, the owners of the subject property. We are requesting variances to legalize the existing outdoor kitchen and pergola, which were constructed without permits. The outdoor kitchen and pergola are highlighted in yellow. Come over to in yellow and red. So the yellow and red areas shows the entire pergola and outdoor kitchen area, and the areas that are in red are the areas that require the variances. Okay, so the existing accessory structure will require 2 variances. The first is for a rear yard setback, and the area that's highlighted, the small area in red at the rear, is the portion of the pergola that requires a variance. And the existing setback is 4.1 feet, and the required is 5 feet, a deficiency of 0.9 feet. The second variance is for a side yard setback, and that's that larger red area on the side of the pergola, where the existing setback is 2.2 feet at the closest point, and the required setback is 5 feet, a deficiency of 2.8 feet. The existing outdoor kitchen and pergola complies with all other zoning requirements. The existing landscaping and fencing provides adequate screenage from the street and from the neighboring properties. And the applicant will need to add dry wells to capture the runoff from the increased impervious surfaces before they can receive a certificate of compliance from the building department. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Okay, to the board. Mr. Cahalan, any questions or comments?
A couple of questions. Mr. Yanacino, can you show us where the wells are going to go?
Yeah. So right here on the site plan, I have 4 dry wells on the side of the house.
Is that going to be, is it because it's pitched, or?
Well, it's just to get the 10 feet away from the property lines, 10 feet away from the house. Back here is all paved.
Right, but will that be effective? Did they pitch it that way so that the water will run?
So we're going to have, currently the patio is sloping towards the rear. We're going to put a new linear drain across the whole back here, and then a catch basin in this area.
Okay.
To pick everything up and then take it to the dry wells with
Okay.
underground piping.
Okay. And the other thing, I mean, the substantial variance, not from a square foot, but from a percentage square foot, is that other side yard. You're asking, it's like a 60%. So if we asked you to take more of that down, could you do it?
Well, the column is right there, so that's the issue.
I know, but this is a, to me, this is I'll do what I want and then I'll ask for forgiveness application. So when you got a 60% variance, are they willing to give something back?
I don't know. I think to take it down would create a difficulty for the owner, because he would have to remove 2 columns, then cut the trellis, push it back. I mean, it can be done, but it would create a difficulty for the owner.
Well, it wasn't difficult to build though, right?
Well, it was, yeah, I mean, if he had known while he was building it, he could have stopped.
So I assume he built it himself.
He did. He was supposed to be here this evening, he didn't show up.
He knew I was gonna be here, I guess he didn't
Yeah.
come.
So I think, he has been through the courts, he has paid fines at the court level, he's gonna be paying some additional fines at the building department before the permit is issued. So, the fines are substantial.
Well, look,
I
I'm a
just
resident and
wanted
I wouldn't want to pay fines, but, when you do something, it's kind of a new concept in America today. You get penalized for it, right? Most people just walk away. We don't have bail, we don't have anything, right? So, maybe it's a good thing that he got penalized because it forced him to take the application and make it legal.
Well-
Because I'm sure his
Counselor?
neighbors can't be happy about this.
I want to
Counselor,
clarify
please.
that.
Yeah.
Just, there is currently an open matter pending for this property, and it has been pending for quite some time. The defendant has paid no fines.
Oh, he hasn't paid 'em?
I have not recommended any fines. The matter has been languishing in court because the applicant has taken quite a bit of time to get an application before the board. And my position as the prosecutor in the case is that I don't know to what extent he is going to need to request variances, they will be granted or not. There were also some violations for constructing without permits, and I don't know what type of work is going to have to be done to comply with whatever decision the board makes. So it is still an open matter, you should know that.
Okay, good to know. So he really hasn't paid anything yet?
Other than, well, he's paying an architect, he's had to get a survey done, there were a number of administrative costs involved in bringing this application, but it was brought because he was not in compliance and issued a summons, and there has been no final adjudication on that yet. I just wanted to...
So just to put it on the record, how long has it taken him to get here? Approximately.
I don't have my file in front of me. I believe the summons started sometime in May, I think, is when the summons was issued. And we were trying to get him to, I told him that I wouldn't make a plea offer on the matter until it came before zoning and we knew what we were dealing with.
Okay.
So there have been some issues. I believe, if I'm not correct, there was some delay in him getting a new survey, which was required for the application, et cetera. So, but we have been trying to get this application before the board for quite a while.
Okay, thanks.
Can I ask one follow-up question on that?
Please, Mr. Conway.
You mentioned you made the point that it's not hasn't been adjudicated yet. Does that mean that the fines that have been issued aren't enforceable at the moment?
No fines have been recommended.
Okay.
Or exacted. Typically, the way I frame these prosecutions is I want to get a sense from the zoning board what is allowable, what they are agreeing to, and then I get some type of an indication from the building department how long it's going to take to implement that. He's going to have to build, or he's going to have to remove something. That's going to take 3 months, and then I make an offer based upon not only a fine, but also the time frame that I'm going to give him or her to come into compliance. That's basically how I frame my offer.
Okay.
And until I get any indication from the board and he has to legalize everything, I don't make a recommendation, so.
Okay.
Okay. But,
Anything else, Mr. Cahalan?
no, I think it's relevant because I know it's only 3 feet, but when you look at the percentage, I always worry about the precedent the board sets for the next application and the next application. That's what I think about.
And that large percentage is really for that one corner.
I understand.
As you go further back, it pulls further away, so the percentage becomes
John,
less.
you always do a great job on your plans.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cahalan. Mr. Conway?
Yeah, so I know since we now know there's an active, ongoing legal proceeding involving this, I won't hold it against you if you don't answer this question or choose not to. But is there any, in case it's helpful for us, like, is there any explanation that your client has about why they constructed this outdoor kitchen without getting a permit?
I don't know what his explanation is. He should have known better because this wasn't the first time that he's done work without permits. So he should have done better. He should have known better.
Thank you, Mr. Yanacito. Mr.
For the
Weber?
candor.
No, I have no questions.
Yeah, and before I make a motion to open the public hearing, I try to judge the application by its 4 corners and not the applicant. I think that's an old maxim of zoning. You judge the application. And in my commentary has no application as it relates to the criminal matter, but ramifications in a ongoing criminal matter should have some bite to them, but we have no jurisdiction over that, and to me, it seems somewhat de minimis, but we're going to proceed with and see if anyone has anything to say about this. So I make a motion to open the public hearing on this matter.
And I'll second.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor? Aye. Okay, seeing nobody.
Hey, before you close the public hearing, did you want to see an alternative that changes it? Because if you do, you should keep the hearing open. If you don't think that's necessary, you can close it, but if there's any other information you need, you should keep the hearing open.
Thank you, Counsel. Well,
Also, Mr. Chairman?
let me get the, I'm sorry,
I
Counsel.
was just wanted to clarify something you said. It's akin to a criminal action. It's really not a criminal action. It's a building department violation matter that's being, that the summons was issued on. So
Okay,
it's not, technically, it's not criminal.
thank you, Counsel, I appreciate that.
How would we find out how many times this has happened before?
We would have to look through the building department file for the property.
So let me take a survey or
Well,
temperature
there
of
was
the
one
board.
other time, to answer your question, Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Yanacino. Go ahead.
So he had purchased a house not too long ago, and he started doing interior renovations. And that's when he got his first violation, and we corrected all that with permits. And then soon after, he started constructing this outdoor pergola.
Right, right.
So yeah, there was one other incident.
Yeah. And as Alan mentioned, you know, you consider the application on the four corners of its merits, but one of the factors that you consider is the self-created nature of the variance. And undertaking work without a permit, without making that inquiry, can go to that factor.
Okay, well, with all that in mind, let me get a feeling of the board. I'll start on this side first. Mr. Weber, would you like to see or request a modification in some, or are you ready to proceed with this application as it currently exists?
Are we allowed to talk with Robert offline, or do we have to?
The deliberations have to be public. If you are seeking legal advice, we can go into executive session, but if it's factual questions about the application, that should be deliberated in public.
Well, thank God we had both lawyers here today. Love it. Okay.
So your action will be taken after we take our action.
Yes, once I know, then I will make recommendations.
And he will need to pay a 10%, right, is it, Carlo, it's 10% of construction
Legalization.
cost for the fine?
Yeah,
Thank
that's not
you.
really in the nature of a fine. That is the permit fee for legalizations.
Well,
We
like
could
I,
close.
you could close? Okay. Well, having been Catholic school educated, everything is criminal, everything's a fine, everything's a penalty. Nothing is good, everything's, you're guilty. Anyway, Mr. Conway,
Same,
you ready to proceed?
I am.
Okay. Mr. Kalin, do you want to see anything further?
Well, I hate to be the stick in the mud, but I've been talking about the application and not the applicant and the fines and everything else, but I do think that, you know, he can shave it back a little bit and take a smaller variance on that side yard. That's a 60% ask. I know it's only 3 feet, but in this particular case, that's a big number.
Okay, well,
I just asked, John, what does
Mr.
it go,
Weber,
what does it go
please.
down to? So you said it was 60 out, but then you said it shrinks back. So I mean, I could see the angle there.
Yeah, I don't have a dimension on it.
Any guesstimate? Okay. So would that take it then from 60 to 40 then, as you make your way along?
So yeah, like 40% instead of 60.
Okay.
Still doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy, but
There's
I'll
a
tell you
There's a
what.
pole there.
please, Mr. Kalin.
I'm comfortable the way it is, though.
And it's
Are you?
it's an open structure.
I saw.
It's a column, and it's not like it's a solid wall.
I got you.
Well, you know, it's important that the board has comfort with the facts before they make a decision, and if you're comfortable, then I'm comfortable, because we don't have Mr. Miller here, and he's a voting member, so without his feel, if you weren't comfortable, I may have held it open in abeyance, but seeing that it looks like the board is comfortable to be able to make a decision and not suggesting that the comfort level means that the decision in the affirmative, but that the board is ready to make a decision, that I'll make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Cahalan, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so back to the board. Anything further?
No,
Mr. Conway?
No.
Mr. Weber?
No.
I don't have anything further. I make a motion to adjourn this matter for resolution only at the February meetings. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your presentation,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Yanacito.
Thank you, have a good evening.
Thank you, John.
You too.
Thank you, John.
Okay, I've got one more item, and that is to adjourn our meeting. Our next meeting, by the way, I usually just say the February meeting, but I might as well state it. It's Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. And a belated Happy New Year to the viewing public. And I make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Galen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Good night.